Hey, hello, my crafty friends. We're just having a few technical difficulties here, so hang tight. You can see I did not have a description or anything like that because this is misbehaving. Okay, so I'm there. Having trouble with the internet, according to the powers that be on devices, right? Things I'm not in charge of. There we go. So as you guys check in, let me know if you can hear. That's really super important. Mainly because technical difficulties are always okay. So we had a weekend here, as most of you guys know. My goodness. Facebook is not working nicely at all. So I want to talk about our, hey Jennifer, how are you? Talk about our machine here that I'm so excited about. And let's see. So we're going to play just a little bit. You can hear me. Thank you so much. When you have technical difficulties, you do not know what is coming down the pike. The wonders of all of this stuff. So we'll give people a minute or two to join us really quick, and then we're going to look at our specials that are going on, and then we're going to talk about the machines that people have coming or have now gotten. Yeah. How was your weekend, Jennifer? Huh. And hi, Dina. How are you? How was your weekend? I hope it was good. Mine was crazy. This kiddo right here is officially 18. Yeah, mine was busy. Couple different parties, celebrations. She wanted to have her friends over one day, and then the family thing different. Normally we've combined them, but she really wanted to do different things. So we did that. All right, we're going to go. Thank you for your patience, everybody. You lived through it. Uh-oh. That's how I feel about last night. I lived through it. Hello, Bernice. Welcome aboard. We're talking about our weekends. All right, heads up. This just came out. The double rewards from the 15th of April to the 17th. So this is a 2 days heads up. Hi, Sue. How are you doing? Hi, Pat. So anything you want, you get double coupons on. And last chance, I really suggest you guys check it out. There are some scrapbooking workshops that were up there this weekend. I don't know if they're still up there. Anything that was on last chance that hadn't sold, there are additional discounts. And then there's a ton of new stuff loaded up because, of course, we have a new catalog that goes live in May. So there's some things that have moved over to the last chance side of life. But double coupons is always good, right? We love double coupons. Last chance. So April is gone, and I forgot to print out April is gone. I forgot to print out May's because April 10th through May 10th is your time to order the May one. So I'll have to pull that out. These colors are retiring. Just wanted this not to catch anybody off guard. If you need re-inkers, you need to pick up a last minute paper pack or that. Hello, Scarlett. How are you today? These are the colors that are on their way out. Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, which I will actually miss. That pink is a really good pink. And then Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock. And Summer Splash is the other one that I'm really going to miss. You know, it's kind of a turquoise, but it's a little bit more green. But I just really like it, and it goes well for summer stuff. So just know that that's out there. Flip that over. Scarlett, you missed this. 2 times, earn 2 times your rewards. So Stampin' Rewards, anything you order on your account, April 15th to April 17th. And Last Chance has been updated. So you want to go, I put some things up there, but there was 9 pages, guys. I wasn't going to screenshot 9 pages. Okay, product of the month is somewhere in this mess on my desk. I was trying to do inventory this weekend, but it got a little insane. So there is no inventory. Hopefully we'll come across it because we are going to play with our handy dandy embossing machines. New kits. I also have those, but we're not going to do the kits. Probably later this week we'll do kits. One is a scrapbooking kit. There shows one layout here, but it has many more in there. And then this is a lovely card. And I actually have some ideas about doing some things a little bit differently, but that's me. Hang tight. I see stuff like that and my brain goes. You also have the ability, if you don't want the die, you can still choose the paper, and you can still choose the stamp set for March and the paper from February. There are still supplies left. You know, it is a while supplies last. When I talked to you earlier, I did not have, I need to put that somewhere safe, guys. I did not have the kit for this month done. So I wanted to show you, because I cut it and got it done this weekend. This is our kit for this weekend, and it is using the die or the set dies and stamps that come with the Nature's Walk. Oh, I didn't have that. I have the scrapbooking one. Here's the scrapbooking stamp set that goes with Nature's Walk, if you like that as well, just as a food for thought. I do have my eyelet die here. We're going to move it over to the play around thing. This is a button card. This flips open like this, and then there's a flap that opens like this. You get a lot of different techniques in here. Direct to paper with ink, with a blender pen, using the dies just to create some texture on that. Fun, fancy fold, your arches if you want to, your rectangles would work. There's a lot of different things you could do if you don't have the arches dies. And then just creating that collage look. We have a couple. I need to wait for my new embellishments to come in so that I can refresh what I used. A little bit different than what Susan used, but still good to go. Who are my Winnie the Pooh fans, especially classic? This is so strange that the big computer is not giving me, it's not showing me any of your guys' comments. You gotta love it. Anyway, I wanted just to show you who's my Pooh Bear people. These are the cards for next month. You want to save your order till after May 5th when everything goes live. It is a buckle up card. So there is a die set that you can order that puts this slit in there, and you can open it up like that. That's cute, cute idea. I did some with it. I did some without. Hanga, Piglet. I did use the alcohol markers to color. Yeah, they're so fun. So she did them differently and just has sentiments on them. I added Pooh Bear. I was looking for something to do for Pooh. Here I did it with a rectangle. And this one probably should have gone on the paper this paper right here, because this is the beehive paper, right? Hexagons, beehives. But food for thought. Anyway, Susan already has the assembly videos done in that. I already have the kits cut. So we'll do kind of a mail out as we go next month. And then these, as soon as I get embellishments in, I'm going to start shipping. All right. So without further ado, I want to make sure that everybody knows about the 2 stamp. We're going to play by and large with this one today, the big one. And I just thought I'd tell you guys, for travel, if you want to just carry a little mini one, or you just got like some sentiments or that, they do have the baby, which it works the same way. Super cute, super portable, and it has the dies, or not the dies, but the plates. Can't go wrong with this. Not meant to do embossing folders, which we're going to go through. I'm going to put this away so it's out of the way. Okay. All right, so here's our cute machine. When you get it, I think you put the handle on, and you're just gonna pop that open, and it's ready to go. So it's super easy to do. I'm gonna scoot this over. It does have some feet. Get my magnets out of the way. So it does have some, I can't put it on here because it won't stay as, it has some good traction to not be floating all around. And in your kit, you're going to have 5 plates. You'll have a number 1. Where did that guy? You'll have a number 2. And these are important because these guys are going to tell you how your sandwiches work. So don't worry about writing down anything. Your sandwiches are all going to be right here. Embossing folders, we have a couple of different options with embossing folders, so that's important. Here's your 3D embossing folders, your standard embossing folders. This shows you how to cut down, which way to cut things. And then I tape this down. It comes from the other squishy mat, so we'll go through and cut that. Pat and I think it was Pat and I discovered that the Sizzix machine will not work for some of our stuff. So you'll get 2 3 plates. Stock up. I reuse mine. I flip it over when it starts to get too wonky. I beat these plates up. I generally move them out when stuff is not clear. Then the top plate moves down and I get a new 3 to put on top. That's how I move my plates around. So you'll have 2 of these guys, and you will have 1 number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. And instructions on the number 1 and number 2 plates. All right. So how do the sandwiches work? Your basic sandwich that you get to do is going to have a 1, 2, and 3. So if you're just doing plain old dies, right? We've all got those. I wish they'd come up with magnetic mats. And of course, since we have the brand new die, this is just a eyelet bloom die. This is the product of the month. And you want to save, if you have not ordered yet this month and are planning to order, you want to order between the 15th and the 17th because of the double rewards. So you'll get stamping rewards times 2. How beautiful is that? I know I brought some. Well, I was pretty positive I brought some paper over here that I'd already pre-cut. I know I did. I'm just not quite sure where it went. Trying to decide if a color is probably going to be better for this. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like in a second. Yep. 6 inches is your diameter for this, or your diameter, your width. Diameter. Guys, I am a little rummy today. Friend's husband next door had a heart attack. I had to run everything around, and I'm helping her out right now while she's trying to do that, taking care of things. But I did not get home until 3:30. Didn't really get to bed until, you know, it takes a while for the adrenaline to die. Okay, this is a huge die for $5. just as a frame of reference. And it's really more of a card front, but we're gonna put it in like this. Yeah, I think the color will show better, so we'll do that. I was really super duper excited. Now, because this die is going right to the edges of my paper, I know some of you guys are really familiar with my addiction to the Post-it note paper sticker. So Post-it notes have that little sticky on it. It's perfect and I use it all the time for masking, but now they have it in rolls with not the Post-it note side, but just the sticky. Works great, doesn't tear the paper. It is my favorite. It's better than washi tape. So you put this into here. I'm gonna have to stand. Oops. Make sure that your plates are on top of each other. Once you get going, it'll be fine, but it's the process of getting it going right in the beginning. Why this is not going to work? All right, you might have to move over. This might be out of here. I was trying to kill the glare. People were saying it was a little glaring. This is a regular folder, right? Yeah. I have 1, 2, 3. Now, it's a little stiff, so I'm going to just check my sandwich. 1, 2, 3, 3. So that's how you do that. I'm actually going to pull this back a little bit on the plate so the plate sandwich can go through a little bit tighter or thinner at front. Yep, there we go. So that's, you just kind of play with that. Right? Never works on camera, ever. And then today I had 6 bars in here and it was telling me I didn't have any internet. Go figure with that. This is when I start to think about when I have that little leftover. Ooh. This is kind of fun, guys. So these flowers do not cut all the way. They have little edges just to kind of give them a little bit of dimension if you want to. But you can also pop them out. So we're going to play with this. This didn't quite cut through. I would have run it back through again. It's very detailed. I tend to run my detailed ones through more than once just because of the detail. But we can see how pretty that's going to be and expect some cards shortly because I, of course, have that ability to create something pretty. We have this. I'm going to just grab Winnie the Pooh because who doesn't love a Pooh Bear? And I want to just show you. So, like, there's some nesting dies in here. The Pooh Bear dies just should be got because they are awesome to have. And we're going to cut these like this. And off we go. Uh-oh. Now this may not have gone through all the way, so I'm going to pull this. I'm going to pull that forward, and I'm going to run it back through the other direction. Just change the way you're cranking the handle, and you're off and running. All right. So we have these 2 pieces. I'm going to slide this. These will all end up, by the way, on magnets. I do all of my stuff on magnets. I just haven't got through my inventory. So here's that piece of white paper. So I've done this nesting die, right? So you can do the cricket, not denying it, cricket, but you have to get in there, figure out what you want. And this, you just pull out the dies, stick them on the plates, run them through, and you get happy. Now, these produce a negative or image. And when you get the stamp positioner, which is going to be available hopefully in May when it pops out, you can see the Force-It. This part right here, I'm going to show you something why you want to hang on to that. Because when you have the stamp positioner, You put this into the stamp positioner like this, and then you line your stamps up over the top of that. You hold that down. You don't have to stamp with this paper in there. You see you can do that. You got those cute little spots right there. You grab those and you put them in right here. But in the meantime, you can line up your sentiments. Arrgh. Why don't I have one? I thought I grabbed the sentiments for this and had it out. I did. Here they are. I think it's easier to line up your sentiments where you want them to go. I want to do this. That's not centered, but that is. And then I'm just going to put this one onto here, like this. And this is super fun and easy for mass stamping. Grab my positioner. Make sure you don't have 1001 things going on here like I do. Push that down, and then when you pull it up, your stamps are going to be where you want them to be. Does that make sense? Give me some feedback if that makes sense to you. We'll get this out of the way and I'll just show you what I mean. Put that back into there. So there's my reverse piece right there, or my, there is a name for it when you have this. I just do not remember the name of it. Negative image, I think maybe. Ink this up. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Flip that back around. The Stampin' Up goes to you. Put it over the two little dots. Push it down. So any of my folks that have shaky hands, this is your new best friend. Spring loads. There you go. So that is why you want to hang on to your negative images. All right. Done with this. We're on to our next play. This is going to come out. So that's your basic dies. Let's do an embossing folder. This is the 100 Acre Woods. I really can't get enough poo. I truly cannot. Get poo, get all of this stuff out of here. Bring it on out. Your sandwich is going to change. Yes, it is a negative image. Thank you very much. Bernice, I'm not... My brain is functioning on 4 hours of sleep. I really tried to go back to sleep, but it did not come. All right. So referencing our wonderful directions here on our plates. Look how big this is, you guys. Oh, I need another piece of paper. Now I don't need to fill this whole piece up. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper and just slide it into my embossing folder. Top of the folder is got the Stampin' Up logo on it. Plop that in there. So I have 2 3s out, right? And right here it says I need to just get rid of number 2. So let's put number 2 to the side in my basket so I don't lose it. And I'm going to grab 3 embossing folder and 3. So this will get loaded up on YouTube, so you'll have it as a reference. And again, make sure that's pulled back. Give the sandwich a chance to get started. Is this a 3D? Oops. I moved it out of the way and I'm not sure. Standard. Okay, since it's not running, we're going to switch over to the 3D and just see if that's too loose. No, it's, I think it's, this is how you just mess around. I didn't think it was a 3D, but it is a 3D embossing folder. And there you go. You have this beautiful forest image with the little paths going through the 100-acre woods. Need that other light. There you go. Okay, so that's your 3D embossing. If you have a standard embossing folder, you're going to need these 2 plates, and you run it through the same way we just did there. The sandwiches will always tell you right here, regular 3D embossing folder. So now, Pat, your question about the hybrid embossing folder. Let's discuss the hybrid embossing folder. So hybrid embossing folders are a little bit different to use. I don't know, does anybody know what a hybrid embossing folder is? Have you guys played with it yet? It's okay if you haven't. So this is a 3D hybrid embossing folder, and you say, what makes it hybrid? Besides all these crazy little things in here. This is another one that needs to go on a magnet. I just didn't have a magnet wide enough. I need to order a 6x6 magnet on it. Little. Okay, how this works is that you can see in here that it says hello, it says love you with sympathy, has all this. This fits into here over the top. So it's going to emboss it. Yeah, I thought so, Pat. That's why, partially why we're doing this, is so you can see what you're doing here. So you have your first plate. This goes down there. I'm just going to cut this in half right quick. And if I can locate a standard embossing folder really quick, I'm going to run one of those through. You put your paper in here, whatever side you want. I'm using two-toned. So see, that's down. This goes like this. This goes like that. Looks pretty good. Put this part, the edge, that does not open. Well, hey, Tina, how are you? Grab number 4. That's what we're doing. Okay. So those of you guys who ordered your embossing folder, your embossing machine, how many of you guys have gotten it? That's how it's supposed to work, Pat. But Pat was the one who alerted me that the Sizzix does not run the hybrid dies. I am so glad you're feeling way better. So here comes the magic. We did the embossing. There's that piece. And this moved, so maybe I should have taped it down. But then you have these sentiments. You got it. Awesome. I'm glad you've got your machine already. And your words are here. This is not the best example because the paper moved. And you can see that it's there. Makes it a lot of fun to do. We're going to try this one more time, but we're going to do it with white. And I'm going to show you kind of something that I have done with the other ones of these. Get those out of here. Maybe I'll do it with white. I think I still had white left. I covered up stuff and doing my other stuff. So we're going to grab another sheet of white. The most used color in my outfit here. We're going to cut a little bit bigger than my 6x6. I want to save that pink. And I'll just keep our 6x6 because that's what this does. I'll have a little bit more of that. So if there's any questions, you guys, please flag me, tag me, let me know so I can try and catch the questions as we go by. I think this is a nifty idea. So in our folder, getting rid of our pieces here and the pieces that we do not need. Let's get these out of here. Your top, where'd that die go? Here it is. So we know our die is going to go right here. Okay. Now, shoot. I remember this as being something different, but it can't work that way. So we're going to have to be creative. All right. We're going to grab ink. Let's do blueberry for the heck of it, because it'll show up really good. You're going to ink the embossing folder. I know. Ooh, gross, right? We are not worried about where that ink is at as far as the folder, because remember, this is going to cut it out. I guess you could use this without cutting it out, but I really want the sentiments out of this. Now, I've only done this with the Holly folder. I've not done this with the Word one. So you got to go all the way to the edges to make sure you get that. You die. Keep the ink pad out of the way. It's going to go down on top of that. Just like that. I'm going to, where'd my tape, post-it tape go? I'm telling you. That's not going to work. Okay, we're going to tape the paper down instead. Grab this. Grab my piece of paper. And to keep it from moving, I can see I've got a little space right there. And loop it. Okay? And I do have ink on my hands. Squeeze that shut. Put this back through. Now these are a little bit stiffer to run through because you've added a layer in there, right? This makes sense. Get your sandwich started by making sure that that folder is set back. It's about an inch back from the beginning. Thank you, Bernice. I got started late, Bernice, because the internet, it was telling me I did not have internet and all sorts of things. So I'm about 15 minutes late. So you lift this up. Yep, this is a hot mess. But you can see with some practice, you can get better at it. And then you will have that. You'll have the outline of your words. With the ivy, it turned out really, really neat. The holly. And so now I know it will work on here. I just have to practice it a little bit to not get ink all over the place. This is a really, really good time to have a bunch of wet wipes and paper towels. They will save you because you get ink. All right. So any questions so far about what I did, how I did it, why it worked, didn't work? I would normally just run this out to the sink, but I'm afraid to put it down anywhere without just kind of giving it a once over and getting it kind of cleaned. Oh, okay, so that's enough to get the main ink off of there. I'm going to put this back into there, and then I will... Oh, there's my just because. So now I have a bunch of sentiments that I can use on a card that has that paper, or uses that. Okay. Ink off my hands. So we have covered 1, 2, and 3. on this plate. This is your standard plate. You will almost always use that plate. Okay. Then you have that second plate, right? Comes through. There's really thin dies. The same thing that is over here on this plate, so you can ignore that. And then we have our, can I send it to you and keep my hands clean? Yeah, right? Just as long as it doesn't transfer. Inky fingers means you're having a good time. So that is how you use your machine with just these 3 plates. The next one we're going to do, we're going to talk about the impression dies. And we played with those a little bit the other day. But I'm not going to do it on this because it kind of warrants an entire, like, discussion here. But just to show you the difference here, this is an impressions, and when you look at it in the catalog, it's going to show, it will be different, and we'll do it when we do the catalog walkthrough. If you just use that die all by itself and just cut it out, you have the flower in there. You can see it. But then if you go through and you use the impressions die, which is a second step to it, you can see how much different that looks. This is what we're going to play with next time. Here's another form of it. Oh, it is. And we love the islands, and even cruising, whatever, you're going to be on islands, and this is, plumeria is just a great flower to use. Plus, we still have a lot of friends that are over in Guam and in Hawaii, so definitely can use it. But that is our next lesson, so stay tuned for impression die cutting. All right, folks, thanks for joining me. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for your patience for me getting on with my technical difficulties, and we will see you later this week. Bye now.